Hello, welcome to Sourcing Arts. I'm Chloe. I will share the most practical knowledge to help you sourcing quality goods from reliable Chinese suppliers and shipping the goods from China to your location smoothly. So if you are an importer or buyer or you may going to buy from China in the future, make sure you go subscribe my channel. When you make inquiry to a Chinese supplier, you may find that the supplier's quotation including three sets of information, namely the minimum order quantity, Incoterm, and the product unit price. I have introduced the MOQ minimum order quantity in the previous video, so in this video, I will talk something about the Incoterm. Incoterm is a short English abbreviation to indicate the price structure of goods, the responsibilities that the buyer and seller should bear, the risks and costs assumed, and the boundaries of goods ownership. When you are going to buy goods, you should research which trade term is most favorable to our costs and needs. In short, the Incoterms refer to four things. First, transportation and freight. It stipulates which party is responsible for the transportation and freight. Second, delivery points. Incoterms means the points at which the responsibility is transferred from the seller to the buyer. Third, import and export regulations. Incoterms stipulate which party organizes the import and export procedures. Last, insurance coverage. It outlines who is responsible for the insurance costs. The Incoterm avoids certain disputes that may arise in the performance of the contract due to inconsistent understanding of the contract terms. If this is the first time encountering the trade terms, don't panic. I will clearly explain every trade terms you should know next. Which Incoterms are most commonly used? In international trade, there are dozens of Incoterms, but not all Incoterms are suitable for all types of transportation. Depending on your mode of transportation, you may have to choose one. Incoterms applicable to any mode of transportation: EXW, FCA, CPT, CIP, DAP, DAT, and DDP. Incoterms that only suit for sea and inland waterway transport: FAS, FOB, CFR, and the CIF. Don't panic, you don't have to remember all of these. Many trainers are only used for large transactions. In fact, the most commonly used trainers are only FOB, EXW, CIF, DDU, and DDP. Next, I will introduce the 5 trainers details. FOB is the most widely used trainer, but it's not the best choice for everyone, especially for small businesses, e-commerce sellers, and people who want to use the courier services as a delivery solution. For these importers, FOB will only lead to unnecessarily higher prices. If your supplier quotes you the FOB price, it includes the product unit price and all the costs to sending the products to the vessel of the designated port of departure. FOB cross doesn't exist independently in trade, but is usually used with ports such as FOB Shenzhen, FOB Shanghai, FOB Qingdao. It means that your goods will be shipped from these ports. And under FOB terms, buyers usually need to arrange the visas, handle the import cost clearance, bear the occasion freight, and all costs occurred in the destination ports. But in actual transactions, buyers can also ask suppliers to arrange the visas, even as FOB. Next is a brief summary FOB. EXW, this is the origin price of the product without any services or shipping costs. Under EXW terms, you need to find your own freight forwarder to pick up the goods in the supplier's warehouse. So if you want to know the origin price of the products, you need to ask the supplier to quote you the EXW price. Other trade terms are not useful for your product research. As I mentioned above, when you use courier company as your delivery solution, such as FedEx, you should ask the supplier to quote you the EXW price because the courier company will pick up the goods in the supplier address. For EXW, the seller's responsibility includes the correct marking of goods to be picked up after correct packaging. The supplier may also be required to obtain paperwork such as export license, but this may be still the buyer's responsibility. In any cases, buyers must pay for the paperwork required. Next is a brief summary of EXW. CIF is also a widely used Incoterm. It's an abbreviation of cost, insurance, and freight. It includes the product original price, the freight from the supplier's address to the designated port of the destination, and the agreed insurance premium. Regarding insurance, I just want to mention that if your product is damaged during the transportation, it won't help. It will help only if the entire shipment is lost. If you don't have a freight forwarder to arrange the shipment from China to your country, or you don't want to bother to do so, then you'd better ask a supplier to quote you CIF price. Under CIF terms, the supplier will ship the goods from their address to the designated port of your country. You only need to find a logistics company and a customs broker to handle the import cost clearance and arrange the transportation from the port to your warehouse. Also, next is a brief summary of CIF. Delivery duty paid shipping agreement is an Incoterm stipulates that the seller bears the greatest obligation and the buyer bears the least obligation. This means that the seller will deliver the products to your home and pay all the costs, including import duties, taxes, and shipping-related costs, and import cost clearance. DDP is very suitable for the importers that don't have any shipping company resources and don't want to worry about the transport and import and export issues. Therefore, if you are doing product research and want to know how much does it cost to import goods from China, just ask the supplier to quote you the CIF price. Also, next is a brief summary of DDP. DDU stands for Delivery Duty Unpaid. The biggest difference between DDU and DDP is who bear the costs and risks of goods in the customs clearance process in the destination country. Also, DDU was considered in Incoterm 2010. There are still some people will use it. Under DDU cross, the supplier will also deliver goods to your location, like DDP, but the supplier won't handle the import cost clearance and pay the import taxes. So you must handle the import cost clearance and pay the import duties by yourself under DDU terms. Also, next is a brief summary of DDU. Okay, now let's wrap this up. FOB is the most popular Incoterm, and usually both buyer and seller agree. The most reasonable way of FOB is usually let the supplier be responsible for the goods in his hometown, and then the buyers take over the overseas transit. If you are a more experienced importer and want to have absolute control over the whole transportation process and the related costs, and are willing to take more risks and responsibilities, then you may choose the EXW terms. EXW imposes the minimum obligation on the seller, while DDP represents the highest obligation. This is the only term that requires the supplier to handle the cost of clearance and the payment of duties and taxes. Experienced sellers can benefit from this system because they fully control the costs, including factors that max the benefits. FOB is more meaningful for sea transportation, and DDP is more meaningful for air express and partial transportation. Okay, the above is the whole content of today's video. I hope you got some valuable information from it. If you have any questions or you encounter any problems when you import from China, you can leave it in the comments or contact us on sourcingers.com. Last, if you like this video, please give thumbs up and subscribe my channel. Hope you have a nice day. See you next time.